What's going on, guys? It's your boy Random Guy Kev, and this is Thoughts of a Random Guy. We talk about many things dealing with love, dating, relationships, adulting, life's ups and downs, and the ever-evolving world of just being a human. Don't forget to check me out on all your favorite social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website at randomguykev.com. Today's topic is filling your cup, and my co-host for this episode is.
What's up, guys? My name is Eric Cummins. You might know me as PNW Punk. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for joining me for this episode. So, filling your cup, and essentially, what does that look like? For those that don't know what filling your cup is, it's essentially pouring into yourself. What does it feel to like pour into yourself, like replenishing your energy, your well being, fostering growth within yourself, and essentially prioritizing yourself? Filling your cup as far as like filling it with everything for you versus just like always spilling it out for others. So, Punk, filling your cup, what does that mean to you?
Well, for me, filling my cup is just, at least as of lately, it has been just finding a time to catch my breath. For anybody who's listening to this inside of our community, and by our community I mean Airsoft, I they know I recently had a house fire, and there's been quite a few life events that have been coming up that have just really taken my ability to fill my cup and to engage in like self-care, and really has been a test in how to fill your cup.
Mm-hmm.
And so for right now, really, it's been more sipping from my cup as opposed to getting it full. But for me, I try to take time to do something as simple as play a video game, to you know engage in art and creative expression and outlet. And it has been fewer and far between as of lately. I'm trying to get back into the habit of it, and I know when we say I'm going to try and do this, or I'm going to try and make time for that, and sometimes try can fall flat, and making a valiant effort to engage in those types of recreations again, those things that I enjoy. And
Gotcha. Like, have you taken time to kind of really understand your needs to get your cup full again? Have you
I'm
taken like
learning.
that step back to be like, all right, this is what's going on. I feel stressed because of this. I'm doing this, but I need to do this to fill my
Yeah,
cup once again.
yeah, and it's that definitely has come with some reflection, and to be real with myself in and there's kind of like a multi-stage to that. And one part is allowing yourself grace. Now,
Mm,
a little backstory on that, and I think a lot of people, men and women, can relate to this. Oftentimes, we'll want to do something that we enjoy. We'll just use video games for right now because it's a very common ground. And a lot of times in the back of our head, we'll be like, you have other things going on that you need, that are more pressing, or that have a more of a priority. And valid, yes, you might have something that is more valid, or not valid, excuse me, that is more pressing that you need to be doing. But at the same time, you are allowed to take time, and
yep.
you are allowed to give yourself that time, and to tell that voice that, like, listen, I hear you. You're right. I do have things, but I also need to not be focused on that mental loop constantly, and I need a break from that. And and seeing that, and not even just seeing it, but not demonizing yourself for not for taking that time. And I that has been a problem that I have had quite a bit. And since the fire, a lot of things, I shouldn't say a lot of things, since the fire, it has taught me to slow down and to
Mm,
give myself that grace and that time to say, you know what, I do have responsibilities, and they're not going anywhere. And I right now need to just veg, and that's, again, this is just the example, but
yeah.
like,
I mean, I think we talked about this before. Where like, I gave you a call, and I was like, take 30 minutes to just
Yeah.
play a quick video game, read, chill out, just get your mind off of like stuff and then get back into it, because sometimes you do need to take a step back before taking a step forward.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that is that if you don't take that time and you do, then you don't take that time, and then when you do, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, you might try to then fill your cup with that one thing, and then you do negate or neglect those other things, those other priorities. So like you had said, sometimes you need 30 minutes, sometimes you need an hour, and sometimes you need a week, and that, whatever that looks like to you, it's depending on how the severity of what you're going through. It's, like, say if you're going through a breakup, you're allowed to be a sad bitch for a little while before
Yeah.
you get back to it. And yeah, so like
yeah.
that's been my, not saying that video games, but like just allowing myself to be like, you know what, no, like, I need to take care of this, or I need to, go to, take my wife out to go get a slice of pizza, or, let's go to a live show just to, take a break from the thing that just is your world all the time.
Yeah, and this kind of ties in with the previous episode, which is main character energy. Making sure that you remember about yourself. You're the main character of your life, and you need to make sure you're good before anything else is good. But at the same time, fill your cup as much as possible, as much as you need to be in a better space.
Yeah, and there goes to be, I for the longest time I used to use airsoft as my sole outlet for filling my cup, and then it would come on the weekends. You have a job you don't like, and airsoft is the escape. Well, it's, for whatever reason, like if there's something going on in the community or whatever, you just need a break, and then you don't have that outlet anymore. And there's this balance of, taking a break for your mental health, and what is filling your cup, and finding things outside. And that's something that I'm learning to find, but it's also like it's healthy, because I'm learning, just learning what other things I like to do and want to do, and that take precedent over going to events, or so it's a lot of opportunity for self-growth, self-reflection in that, like, what is filling my cup. And
Yeah, and then also kind of having a solid support system around you that encourages like your well-being, you filling your cup, you like getting back to yourself. I think that not having a solid support system can like make filling your cup really hard in some cases, and then it's like you tend to kind of self-criticize yourself and overthink situations, and then you get into a negative space, a negative bubble, and you're just like, no, I should be doing this, I'm not doing this, and you start to get overwhelmed and start playing in your head essentially.
Oh yeah. I through this experience, it's there's that cliche saying that, like, when you go through some really hard shit, you find out who your real friends are.
Yep.
And there's a part of that, yes, that is true. And I also, through finding out, because I had some really close friends that, like, I don't hear from anymore, and they are not reliable when I need them. When I need them, I'll, that you're like, I've always here for them, and I'll drop whatever. But then you find out that the coin is not always even on the other side. And in that, you also have to say, like, okay, how much of that is on them? And how much of what I am going through do they not necessarily understand or know how to be there? And there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. You lose friendships, and you will lose your support circle sometimes. And I'm kind of at this impasse, or not impasse, crossroads of finding new things about myself, self-reflection, and having to find a new support system. And and also while trying to maintain grace in not having that negative self-talk that comes from not, from just being isolated, and those thoughts, and then I wouldn't say insecurities, but like those thoughts that will cross your head that aren't necessarily true, and you have to really have those honest conversations of, well, what is true and what is true right now, how much of that negativity is in my head and how much of it is external. And yeah.
Do you feel like over time, since your situation, the house burning down, and seeing who's really on your side, has this like from the beginning, before this situation, and then after, has filling your cup been different for both experiences, like before the house burned down and then after?
Yeah, so I'll say it like this: is that when your life is Gucci, or I shouldn't say Gucci, but when life is just kind of maintaining, and you've got your routine, your friends, they know how to interact with you within that routine, and when your routine is drastically changed, sometimes that's a shock to their system too, and they don't necessarily know how to be there for you in that routine anymore, because your routine, it's like when you have a best friend and then they get into a relationship, you don't hear from them for a while. I mean, I feel like we all kind of
we all
know that. We've all had that. We've all been there, and you're like, oh damn, okay, so I guess I won't be hearing from, that'll be the end of that, or not, wouldn't at the end, but things change. But since the fire, you lose that one, and then our community in the airsoft community really showed up and showed me a level of support that I didn't see before. Because I had no reason to look at it that way. I tried not to take anything for granted. So like you have support of your brand, I hold on to it. So then when that happened and everyone showed up the way they did, it was like, okay, so then this is my family, because and then on the flip side of that, right? So now some time has passed and I'm still trying to regroup, and it's not as fresh, but then with that lack of circle that's local, you definitely, I find myself sometimes getting into that negative space of like, that's that questioning whether or not I'm making the right decisions. Is this the right thing to do? And I just have to tell myself, like, listen, you are full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. And this is the self-talk of the before you. This isn't you now. You're reflecting on experiences that have happened a decade ago, and you're why are you applying them here when there's no evidence to support? Just because things are quiet right now doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we get in our heads and we'll tell ourselves the most ridiculous shit.
Made up stories, man. And again, it goes back to that, like, giving myself grace. I'd be like, no. I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine, and I was like, hey, I'm having a really hard time with my short-term memory. I can't remember shit. I can't remember names. I don't remember. I only remember little bits and pieces of my life before the fire. And and things are slowly kind of coming back. And I'm explaining this to my friend, and she goes, "That's PTSD, bro." That's and I'm like, of course we hear PTSD, and it looks different to different people. And so like, for me, I'm experiencing these things and I don't know why, and I'm like, oh fuck, you're right. Yeah, okay, no, that makes sense. Not that it becomes a crutch or anything that I just got PTSD, so I don't have to no, it just helps you understand why things are the way they are, and maybe why you might have a hard time filling your cup is because, and a lot of us, it's not isolated to me. A lot of people it's everybody.
Everybody. Everybody's got
situation we go through.
Yeah, and having that click, having that moment where it's like, oh, no wonder I'm having such a hard time filling my fucking cup, because hot damn.
I get you on that. It's like, you know, celebrating your wins and versus, you know, looking at your losses and having them outweigh everything. And like, yeah, we all have losses. Things happen. We take a L on a number of things.
Yeah.
But we have to get up and remember, like, okay, I was able to wake up this morning. I have a roof over my head. I have a job. That's a win. That's a solid win, and I can use that to fill my cup. I can use that to push forward and do everything I need to do. You know, there's activities that you can create for yourself. Again, like I told you before, hey, you could be working. Hey, I need to work because I need to make money for this, because I need to get this. But then you still need to take a step back and make sure you're good and do something different that get your mindset out of that negative space and then step right back in. Okay, I know I have to get work done, but let me take a step back to make sure I'm good and, you know, my space is good. I'm feeling good about myself and I'm not in my head too much.
Yeah, and here's what's crazy about this topic about filling your cup is like how much a lot of this stuff is tied to boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries, like
You know,
literally personal boundaries. Yep.
pure personal boundaries is it's like, man, okay, so for instance, like, like we were talking about, the lack of personal circle and those who were in it and who are not. And when that call comes in that you would normally answer, knowing full well that you need to take care of somebody or you need to be there for somebody else, and I'm like, no, I'm not answering that phone call. I'm not gonna, as hard as that is on you, because you're used to being that person who will fulfill that role.
Yep.
And a lot of us need to feel needed and need to feel like we matter to something or someone or a cause, whatever, and to just take that pause and be like, no, I am not available right now. And
like you said, you have to say no sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, okay, again, like you said in the beginning, before this whole fire thing, I mean, just in anybody's situation, you could be like, your life could be going amazing, things are going great, and then some type of trauma, some type of hiccup happens, and now you're in the gutter, and you're just like, what, like, how did I get here? What can I do to make myself? And the people that are quote unquote supposed to be in your circle, they're no longer there. They were taking from you before. They weren't putting back into your cup. And now that your cup is literally empty, they're just like, you know what? I'm good. You ain't got nothing left for me to take. I'm gonna sit back here. I ain't gonna fill your cup though.
Right. Like, like when I just, dude, yeah. I'm just gonna mumble a bit and then agree. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah,
I mean,
it feels.
Yeah, I mean, again, self-care is definitely essential, and it's something that we all need. It's like, what small thing, consistent action that you've done each day to kind of prioritize filling your cup and making sure you're good, if anything at that.
Honestly, like for me lately, it's been just going to the gym. Like that is my time, and I think a lot of people can agree who use the gym, is that the weights never talk back. They always listen, and it's just you. It's just you and your whatever you're listening to, whatever you're watching, whatever your thing is. But like every day, man, I have been going to the gym every single day. I have been improving my diet, and like I might be in the gutter, and the hardest part about being in the gutter is like trying to maintain the normalcy and get things done the way it was while you're still trying to heal. And that to me has been a huge hurdle, and I'm still trying to get over that, and integrating myself back in. But I'm starting with myself, my body, my health. If that's the one thing I can control right now, that's where I'm going to start. And
I agree.
Every day. Even if I can't go to the gym, if I'm at the office, I've got my kettlebell. I've got my gym. I've got a change of gym clothes here. So like if I want to work out here, I can just stop what I'm doing, take 30 minutes, and just throw some heavy weight around for a bit. And at least I know that I'll feel better, at least physically. And that's a huge first step.
I tell people like, for me personally, it's always going for a walk. If I can go for 2, 3, 4, 5 mile walk, I'll just do it. Like I'll go for a walk and I don't. After hearing this, I'm not crazy or anything, but I go for a walk and I'll listen to a true crime. Listen, like, and I called you when I've been on a walk too, a couple times. Like, and it'll be like, I'm going for a 5 mile walk. Fuck it, I ain't got shit else to do. Like, I want to get out of my head. I want to make sure I'm good. Boom, let me do this. Let me see let me check on other people and see how they're doing.
Do you? Which, by the way, and that's, I appreciate that. And that's something that I don't think I've actually verbally said to you, but throughout this entire experience, there have been, like, I can count on 3 fingers the amount of people who, I shouldn't say that. That's incorrect. About on one hand, who have unsolicitedly reached out to me and just asked me how I'm doing, and you're one of them. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that and how much that helps me, because, and not to say that like I need it all the time, but like just man, every now and again when anybody listen to this, call your mom, call your friend, call somebody and just be like, yo bro, thinking about you, bitch. Or like
I'm thinking about you, bitch.
I'm thinking about don't say that to your mom.
Yeah. I'm thinking about you, bitch. Are you good?
Yeah, you good? How's your fucking mental health? You lifting weights? What are you doing, bro? Like every now and again, you'll hit me up and be like, "Yo, do shit, do something, do a backflip. I don't care."
Yeah, it's fucking fat ass.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think we all need people in our lives that. I mean, it's cool. I do that to a lot of people around me. I just call them like, "Yo,
yeah,
you good? Everything good? All right, just call to check up on you, make sure everything good." I mean, sometimes that's all some people need. Just make sure, someone cares.
Yeah,
because I ain't calling nobody. I don't call nobody I don't like.
Right. And I don't.
Have a 30-minute conversation with a loser.
Yeah, and I used to be the person who would call people. I'm like, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? I used to be that. That used to be what I used to do. And so, for me, I had this my therapist hit me with this one, and he calls it. He says that's called compassion fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what the fuck? He goes, yeah. He's like, nurses have it during COVID. Like when people just were being fucking pieces of shit, or when they're dealing with sick people all the time. At some point, you just can't do it anymore, or you have a hard time faking it. And so instead of being like, yo, I used to be the one to call people, and I used to be the one that used to be reliable and be the person to see how people are doing. But I'm like, no, don't get in that fucking space, because that's not what this is. This is not, you're being hard. Like, you have to, like, seriously, and if you need to do this, do it, because I do it, where sometimes I will physically and verbally say to myself out loud and be like, you don't talk to your friends this way. Why the fuck are you talking to me this way? Don't talk to me this way. Like, like sometimes you have that little inner voice in your head. It's the one spewing all that vile shit. And I'm just like, hey, fucker, I'm not the one. You don't fucking talk to me that way. I deserve to be spoke to the way you talk to your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And like, sometimes it helps. Sometimes it's all you need to just be like, I'm on bullshit right now. You're right. I need to take a step back, and I need to fill my cup. I need to be in a better space, and I'm not going to get there if I'm being hard on myself.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you're checking yourself, making sure you're good, then it's possible to make sure other people are good. But I think even if you get into a relationship, you always got to make sure your cup is as full as possible, so you could be able to support that person next to you. Mm-hmm. And if people around you keep taking from your cup, you have to take a step back as a whole. Like, not like a huge step back and be like, all right, hold on. Y'all can't just keep taking. and not pouring back, because no one likes that. You can't
No.
you can't take and not pour back in. It's supposed to be a mutual thing going on, especially around people you know. But again, if you don't, if at the moment you're taking a step back from everybody, make sure you're taking the right steps to pour into your own cup and making sure that it's constantly full and you're not overthinking negative thoughts and what should I do about this, what should I do about that. You make sure you're actually reflecting and growing while pouring into yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as we come to the end of this episode, what do you kind of want to leave people with in regards to filling your cup?
Just like all things, you know, you got to check yourself, and you got to check what you're doing and how it's affecting you. And sometimes it takes those traumatic things in life that make us reflect and that make us take those inventories. But if you have the chance to just ask yourself those questions, you know, and get off your phone, you know, I find myself trying to escape. I'm trying to escape my reality, and I find myself doom scrolling and wasting time, and it's not making me any happier. I'm just wasting my time and my life away on that shit. And you know, and asking yourself the questions of, what is this doing for me? Is this good for me? Is this something, you know, is the thing that you're doing and participating in something that you would recommend somebody else do to improve their life? And if the answer is no, then maybe it's time to make that change. And that's where I'm in. And yeah, you know, I'm learning new things, but ultimately it's for the greater good and it's for my greater overall health. And I recommend anybody who is experiencing this to maybe do the same. And if you, this is not a plug, but if you're on Instagram and you know, you need advice, I can assure you I'm a wealth of information. So hit me up, PNW Punk on Instagram, and if need be, if you can't find me there, then hit me over on the Slaughter Project, and I'd be happy to talk with you. So
yeah, don't forget, give yourself permission to change and grow. Evolve and adapt your self-care practices, please, because again, it comes back down to you being the main character of your life. You filling your cup. You have to do this. Don't allow people to just take and take and take and take without pouring back in.
And also remember too that sometimes the tools we have do not apply to the situations right now. And sometimes we need to learn new tools, and we need to learn new things to help us get through that. So that's, I'll leave with that.
Learn new things. But thank you for joining me for this episode. You guys can find me on all social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website, randomguykev.com. Don't forget to check in, and I will catch you guys on the next one.